Hello everyone, it's Jackie and I'm back with another little tutorial for a tag. This is using the 50 stack challenge prompts from Crafty Cat. The prompt is paint. There's no paint on this one, but this is Tracy's second project from last year's December daily, or a version of it, my version of it. And it's a tag in a pocket basically. So that's what we're going to do for paint, and this is what we're going to make today. So you can see how similar it is. The paint is the flower. Oh, excuse me. There's not much paint, but there is paint, so I think it does meet the brief. So that's what we're going to do, but I thought I would also just show you another version I've made, which is a Christmas one, and this is for a tag swap by Oak House Journals. Carol, my friend Carol Parker at Oak House Journals. I'll try and remember to put all these links below. And this one, I've put a tassel on just to dress it up, and there's a bit of glitter. It's actually a simpler version in some respects. I've used ruby and pearl papers for all of these. So that's the pocket. And this is the tag. I haven't put anything in this pocket yet, but you can see how that might look together. So if you want to make something along those lines, it's not that difficult using the pattern that I'm going to show you today. Oops. So let's get started. So you're going to need 4 pieces of lightweight cardstock for this. Really lightweight. The first piece is 4.5 inches by 5 3/4. The second piece is 3.5 by 5 1/4. This is all in inches. And then for the tag, it's 3 1/4 by 6 1/2 and 2 1/4 by 6 1/2. So we'll put those pieces aside just for now. And you're going to need some book pages. And I've got some mathematics pages for this one for a change. So the first thing I'm going to do is some glue pages here. First thing I'm going to do is cover the card with book page. So I'm going to start with this larger piece. I'm going to use glue stick. I'm going to try and get it right to the edges in particular, but covering the whole thing. So there we go for that one. I hope you're all doing okay today. Trying to speak into my iPad. As you probably all know, I've got a very simple setup here. So let's go from the top so I can line this up against this typeset. So that's that one. I'm just smoothing it out with my bone folder. And we'll cover this piece as well at the same time. We'll need a few tools for this one, although you can get by without them. We're going to do a bit of scoring in a minute, and I do use a scoreboard, but you can manage these without a scoreboard. This side, lining that up. So I'm going to let these 2 pieces just dry a little bit before I score them. And before I score them, I'm going to cut round the edges, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. They're dry-ish and covered. So we're going to take the larger piece and on both of the longer sides we're going to score at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go 4 inches and 1/2 inch. I mean, you can do this on use something soft like a catalogue and use a ruler, so you just put your ruler 1/2 inch in and score that way, but I personally wouldn't be without my scoreboard. And then the bottom edge also 1/2 inch, like so. So that's that bit done. And then we're just going to reduce the bulk. We're going to cut these bottom corners out. So can you see where it's raised up here? I'm just going to go slightly at an angle into that corner and that corner, that corner and that corner, and I'm just going to angle these top flaps as well, just a little bit. So that's our shape for our pocket. Keep losing things. There's my bone folder. I'm just going to fold these in and use my bone folder just to reinforce the creases. This paper has cracked a little bit. It's probably still a bit wet, but that will be absolutely fine. That won't matter. When we make this pocket up, we're going to put this on the back. So we've got a sort of gusset. It just gives you a little bit more room inside. It also means that any tag can go right to the edges. If we just folded the paper and stitched, we'd have had less room. These raggedy edges, that hasn't happened to me before with this paper, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there. I might just run some matte medium down there, or just ink the edges. Probably will be enough to disguise that, shall we say. So the bottom piece is going to fit to the flap at the bottom first, but I want you to check that it's not bigger. Sometimes when you're scoring it's slightly off, so I am just going to take a little sliver off the side of this just to make sure it doesn't stick out. And I'm going to get this bit glued on now, just so that it's ready, and then you can see where I go next. So let's use some white glue. Way up. Just line that up so that it's all looks good. Sorry, I hope I'm in frame. There we go. Also, when I'm making a pocket like this, I want this bottom flap to be over these two, so that anything I put in here will slide right to the bottom. If you do it the other way round, fold the flaps that way, things can get caught. So that's that. The next thing I'm going to do is what I said a minute ago. Just going to get some matte medium just on my fingers here. Too much. I'm just going to run it down this edge just to make sure that doesn't get any worse, basically. So that'll take a little bit to dry as well, so I might have to just go away again. This is me being extra fussy. This isn't really a necessary requirement. That's that, so that'll need to dry. And then we're going to do two things. We're going to get the front motif ready, but before I do that, I'm going to stitch. I'm going to open it up like this, and I'm going to stitch around these four sides for decorative purposes, nothing to do with holding it together, but just to make it look prettier. So I'm going to use my grey thread, go around there, and then we'll come back and we'll put the decoration together. So the image on the front, I've cut a piece from a Flower Fairy postcard. This piece is, where's my bit of paper? This piece is approximately 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Could have just measured it, couldn't I? Bit under 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. And this piece is a digital from Ruby and Pearl, and it's 3 inches by 4.5 inches. And this is going to sit on the front with this, and then we're going to just put that flower on the edge there. So I want these stitched. So the first thing I'm going to do is tack this in the right place, which is about there. Just a bit off centre, and then I'm going to straight stitch around that edge, and then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to tack it to the centre of this piece, and I'm going to zigzag round this edge while this, before the pocket is joined together. So I'm going to take this piece and stitch around here, and then I'm going to tack it to this piece and zigzag round here. So I'll do that and I'll be back. Okay, I've done the stitching, so let's close this pocket up. I'm not liking that it looks a bit tattier than I usually do, but I'm going with it at the moment. I don't really want to start it all again. So we'll see if we can sort that out later. I'm just gluing both of these flaps. Just be able to close that up. If we've got everything level, it should work quite well. So that's that. And now we're going to make the tag to put in the pocket. It's all good. Could have stitched the back, I suppose, as well if you'd have wanted to, but I haven't bothered doing that. Quite a busy front, but I don't mind it. It's quite cute. So for our tag, we are going to use book page again for the pocket, and for this inside part of the tag, I've got this strip of paper. So I'm going to glue that on first, that on there, and then put the tag together. Try and keep you on for this, most of this in real time. I can imagine when I'm actually doing this, the sort of original. It takes quite a long time. I do a lot of faffing about. That's that piece. And then for the pocket, I'm going to cover that in book page again. these pieces off. Cut around this piece. Going to form the pocket across like that. I might actually cut that down to 2 inches, looking at it now. I've got 2 1/4. Yeah, I'm going to cut that down to 2 inches. To go to my big cutter, so just bear with me. I think that's better, and then we're going to make the flower to go on here. Again, I need to let these dry. My sewing machine doesn't like sewing through anything that's slightly damp, so what I will do is do a zigzag stitch down there. I will turn this into a tag now for you. I can hold it all together neatly. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is take this piece and zigzag down here. So I want something to match the zigzag on the front. And then I will just use a little tiny bit of glue in the corners to tack this together once this piece is stitched, and then I'll straight stitch round all of the edges. But while we're waiting for that to dry, in fact I'll probably cover the back of this as well at the same time, so that will even take a bit longer to dry. So I'm going to put that on the back. This is another piece of that ruby and pearl. It's all, these are from her new Christmas set. They're not that Christmassy in one respect, so, you know, I've used them probably not just as a Christmas type tag. So I'm going to glue that back on there, wait for those to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to get my paints out and we'll paint the flowers. Okay, so I'm back and I've gone down a slightly different route. I hope you'll forgive me. I did paint my flowers, but I didn't like them, and I didn't actually like this. The more I looked at it, the more it was too messy. Stitching wasn't very good, the edges weren't very good, and the thing was too busy. So this is all been scrapped. Sorry about that. But I have gone back, redone my front cover. I've carried on with the same papers, so it's all Ruby and Pearl, her recent Christmas kit, and I've redone the pocket, exactly the same measurements and exactly the same way, except that I've used an image from the paper. I've stitched my tag, and that does slot nicely into that pocket. So instead of painting the flowers, what I've done is gone back to my die cut, pasted or glued some of the digital print, this one from this page, onto some fairly thick card, and then I've die cut it out in the same way, just the same way that I did the others. And this is going on here, and this is going on here. So this will be glued on using a bit of white glue, and I've used a circle punch. I think it's a 1/2 inch circle punch. Never says on these, does it? But I think it is maybe just under 1/2 inch. Sorry, put my ruler in my punches. Circle, so that'll go in there. So I shall glue that on there and then glue that to that tag. We'll do that in a minute. And to finish this one, I wanted to dress it up slightly more, so I've got this little cabochon, I think it's called. It's just a metal tray with a glass dome. I think I got these off Amazon, but I've had them a really long time, so I can't be sure about that. And I'm just going to use some glossy accents. I'm hoping it's going to come out without too much trouble. I've cut another, there we go, brilliant. So I've got another circle here of the paper. And I'm putting some glossy accents in there. This is really old, I've had this a long time as well, but I'm pretty sure you still get this from Ranger. And then we'll pop the glass dome in, and again, put it away and I need it again. The glossy accents will also glue this metal to my flower. It's very dark outside, I'm not sure what the light's going to be like on this. It's raining and the nights are drawing in and it's mid-afternoon, so UK's a bit dull and dismal just at the moment. So you just need to set that. Just hold it in place. It does stick quite quickly, so we'll leave that for a moment and glue this one together. I mean, obviously you can paint these flowers. You're probably a better painter than I am. I'm not too good with the old watercolours. I keep trying. That's going on there. We're almost done. So, looks pretty. So, that's stuck. That can go on that corner. And then we just need to finish the top of the tag, and obviously something to go in here at some point as well, but that could be anything. Could be a letter. You could use it as a gift card holder, I guess. So let's pop one of these things, an eyelet. I've got a green one here, I'm going to use a green one. Doesn't want to go through. It's a bit weird. In there. I like that it just shows a little bit, so you know there's something going to peep out up there. I have got a bit of green sari silk. I think that'll work. I'll do it this way for now. I might decide to change it into a bow at some point. I'll show you all of them together in a second. And probably if I was going to use this as a gift or in a journal, I think I probably would use a bow up here. And I might dangle a charm like I did for the Christmas one. Let's see if I can do a bow. Just need a bit more of this silk scarf. I think it was a sari actually at one point. Sometimes a bow looks a bit more luxurious. To get the length, I just sort of do a rough. That's probably about right. With bows, you just have to fiddle till they get right. Pull those down a bit. And again. You get there in the end. These off a little bit shorter. There we go. There we go. So that's a nicer finish, I think. So we got there in the end. Not quite as I intended. I have done obviously the painted one, and I do like it. I do like the way that one turned out. I just made a better job of it, really. So that's those two. This was my original, a bit more masculine. This is a Tim Holtz papers and one of his film strips, cut from a film strip. And then I've got my slightly more elaborate Christmas one. So thank you for watching. Bit of a mishmash with this one, but hopefully you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you all again soon.